Hey everyone, and welcome to a new series that I'm starting up. This is going to be called Playstyle Spotlights, and the goal of this series is to come in and look at individual players that are well known in the community, in the competitive scene, and watch a single match, whether it be a tournament match, a ranked match, a scrim, and see something that they play a lot and play very, very well, and try to break it down little bit by bit through the laning phase into the mid game and their decision making as far as itemization goes, decision making against enemy characters and how to counter them out, and how to make the plays in the team fights in the late stages of the game, and how it all comes together. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be covering, for the first episode of this series, Cloud9's Psiyo on Isis. This match is from the round 1 of the grand finals in week 1. The path to the $100,000 tournament played last weekend between Team Solo Mid and Cloud9. Isis played by Psiyo. He plays such an amazing Isis. In fact, in this match, he made some incredible plays that we're going to see quite shortly. Let's go ahead and start here. I think the first question that everyone asks when they try to mimic a build or try to get into a game is, what do I start with? Psiyo playing Isis starts with this very standard build in the mid. In fact, this is pretty much what every mid starts with without much variation. It's going to be the Vampiric Shroud, Boots 1, Healing Potion, and Mana Potion. These items together as a startup gives you good control. The Vampiric Shroud will give you some HP, it'll give you some magic power, a little bit of regen, and of course gives you the passive, which every time you get a last hit on a minion, 10 health and 10 mana. A little bit of movement speed, and of course enough regeneration in both healing and mana to be able to keep yourself afloat in the lane. He's going to go ahead and prefer to level up Wing Gust, his 1 ability. He goes into his 3 after that, the Spirit Ball, and of course putting points into Ultimate whenever available. And you'll see him make a lot of interesting decisions here as we go forward into the laning phase. He will be laning up against Lobster's Agni, which is by far a very, very top tier player god combination. You see him start out here with the basic attacks. Now, one thing I want to mention is the fact that Isis's basic attack combo is incredibly powerful. The last hit on her hit chain is an AoE splash, and you'll see Psiyo leverage this a lot. He really, really, really loves using his basic attacks to clear out waves. Now watch him kind of stack this up. This is a very standard play in the mid lane. You see him dashing forward. He's going to now turn his last few shots of the Wing Gust onto Lobster here. Going to do a little bit of damage on the screen. You're going to see the damage that he does in white and the damage that the Agni does in orange there. There's a Spirit Ball coming out. You see does 130 damage, lets you know that it is currently level 1. You see his passive is that the hit chain is going to clear that out quite easily. That splash damage, very, very effective. Now, as you watch Psiyo, see his preference to lean back. Not only that, but he also holds on to his abilities until Lobster commits to something. You see him dashing the fire. He's going to jump into the Path of Flames and get some shots out. Now look at the exchange there. Lobster currently sitting at about 250 HP, whereas Psiyo is at 450, and that's just because Psiyo made the decision to stand in the Path of Flames while his minions were still alive, and that means that his minions will turn on Lobster for that Path of Flames doing damage to Psiyo, and with the combination of his Wing Gust as well as his minions attacking Lobster, he exchanged very well. They're actually forced out the healing potion from Lobster. You can see him kind of hanging back pretty far here. Agni has a decent engagement against Isis in the early stages of the laning phase. There goes the basic attack hit chain, and then Wing Gust coming out here. He's going to use his hit chain yet again to go after that. Level 4 now on Isis. Level 5 will change things a lot, as everyone knows. As Agni hits level 5, he will get his Rainfire, which is a no mana cost harassment push tool. It leverages heavily. A good slow from the fray. He's looking for it, but he's being very cautious here. You can see as an Isis, you don't have an escape mechanism. You don't have anywhere to go, and he doesn't play very greedy. Looking for the Spirit Ball, gonna get it now, going for the Wing Gust. Kind of chasing it, looking for opportunity, a few basic attacks after the banish, but he's going to back off. You can see how he could easily get this, right? Obviously with Bacchus on the screen, you can see that, but, he's not committing very hard. He doesn't want to give up anything in the early stages. Isis is a very powerful defensive character, can be offensive. The problem with Isis is if you expend your abilities aggressively, she's completely caught out and can't do anything to defend herself here. Now watch, she's using the hit chain to push the wave, waiting for Lobster to do something. And then there's a specific reason for this. If he starts the Wing Gust Lobster can stun him immediately, counter out his push, and then go directly into a push of his own. And so he's waiting for Lobster to commit to something before he actually starts using his abilities, and he's leveraging his hit chain as much as he possibly. Look how much damage it does here, able to push this this wave of ranged minions back quite effectively. And this is how he loves to play Isis. He just waits for the damage to come out. You can see him running forward and stepping back and forth there, trying to bait out the flame wave. And basically what he's doing here is getting close to the wave, and this is something that you'll see in the laning phase, in all lanes actually. If you see an enemy god go near the minions, then you're going to try and harass them while also pushing the wave. And so Psiyo runs towards the minions and turns around immediately, so that Lobster sees that and tries to get a quick flame wave off to push the wave and simultaneously harass Psiyo. But since he preemptively started running, it's not going to do a whole lot. You see 2 bombs above Agni's head right now. And this is exactly, how you're supposed to play against an Agni or anyone really. Watch how often Psiyo attacks and then stops attacking. And the reason for this is there's a very specific reason for this. He is waiting for the animation of the rainfire to begin, and he does not want to be caught in the movement speed penalty of basic attacks while trying to dodge skills. This happens a lot to a lot of people, where you're just backpedaling and basic attacking and you're caught in the movement speed penalty of your abilities, and all of a sudden you get mummified by Anubis, you get stunned out by Agni, you get hit by a spirit ball from Isis, and it's because you are moving slow. The enemy's going to pick that out and just jump on you and use the opportunity to win the lane. So Psiyo attacks once, waits, attacks once, waits. If he gets the opportunity to get the chain off, he will. You can see him leading the lane here with the spirit balls. He has a preference to hit the melee minions with the spirit balls and then just backs off. He's waiting for Lobster to commit. He does not want to use all of his abilities, get interrupted, and then end up going out here. You can see Mercury staying there. Of course, Psiyo has no vision of that. He's just kind of backing off preemptively. He feels that there's a jungler nearby. He doesn't want to get caught by it. Suntouch coming over. And of course, we can't hear the voice communication happening inside of their Mumble or TeamSpeak or whatever it is that they're using, Ventrilo, whatever the case may be. But you can see, you take a very conservative approach to Isis mid. There's a lot of strong mids in this game, and there are a lot of counters to Isis specifically. Hubwa is a big one. You have a lot of trouble playing Isis against Hubwa in the mid lane. Main reason being is that when you go for the Wingust channel, which is your main push utility, if you don't get a full Wingust off, your push is significantly reduced. The second you start it, Hubwa is going to water spout you and cancel it out. Same thing for the Agni. Agni can dash forward and stun you out of that one. Without the Wingust, you don't really have a whole lot of offensive potential. So you'll see Psiyo here take a very conservative approach to the lane, using his hit chain as much as he possibly can, and then going into the engagements when he possibly can, looking for harassment. And when his teams come over to take the mid camps, he looks for Spirit Ball opportunities over the wall. Now remember, Spirit Ball does more damage the further it travels. There's a big key to the skill that a lot of people don't know. The further it goes, the more damage it does. So he wants to hide behind walls, not only for the fact that no one can see him activate the Spirit Ball and it's going to come out of nowhere, but also the fact that, you're going to be able to, get more damage out of it. And see right there, you see a basic attack, Psiyo waits, and then waits for the animation from the rainfire to come out, and then just go ahead and hits it. Now you see no minions here. Psiyo does have his ultimate circle of protection, so we'll be able to use that if Agni decides to jump on. In fact, he bought 3 wards there. Let's go ahead and check in on the itemization that Psiyo has. His first back finishes off the penetration shoes of the Magi, and then tier 1 of the purification beads. That is going to be key here up against a character like Mercury, which is all that really matters. That Spirit Ball a little bit late there. Not able to get that down in time for the tier 1 banish, which doesn't last a whole lot. But again, against Mercury, a huge pickup is going to be the purification beads, and honestly, it may be mainly because of the Mercury. In fact, it is exactly that. You look at Apollo, Agni, Neith, Bacchus. It's great to have beads against these. It's not necessarily compulsory, but at the same time, you have Mercury, where with special delivery and Sonic Boom, you have to have the purification beads to be able to control it. And you can see that Psiyo is perfectly comfortable to be on the back foot in this lane. He's allowing Lobster to push it more aggressively, and also allowing it to be more effective for Lobster, so that he can clear the wave as it comes towards his tower. Because Isis, in open field, or Isis in an aggressive setting against someone like Agni, generally doesn't win out. Opportunity for a gank here. Spirit Ball, circle protection, Wing Gust, pop it immediately for the kill. They're going to go for Game Hunter, going to try and silence this, but it's going to be late. Of course, the ultimate was already activated, but you can see the decision making here. Flash forward a little bit, we're going to see a little bit later in the laning phase here. Of course, you can see him every single wave after a certain level. He just decides, throws out the Spirit Ball on the melee wave, and then Wind Gust to follow up. The Wind Gust will finish off the ranged minions. He's perfectly fine doing that. His next item choice, of course, is going to be the Focused Void Stone. Just tons of penetration, allowing his abilities to do more and more and more. Look at that, 438 on the Spirit Ball detonation. Wind Gust coming out there. There goes the damage on top of Loster from one single Wind Gust hit. You're going to see him pick up tier 3 purification beads, and again, this is mainly because of the Mercury getting on top of him. You also have the stun from the Agni, the rotation coming out from the other players, but again, you just want to avoid that Mercury. You know, against characters like Mercury and Fenrir, these are the two that you have to pick up purification beads early, or you will end up falling down in the mid lane. And Isis is a character that is very susceptible to that. So we're going to pick up Focus Void Stone, a little bit more penetration. You can see as the laning phase comes to a close, he's using Spirit Ball on the melee minions every single time. There goes the hit on top, trying to shoot it as far as he possibly can. And then he goes for a Wind Gust to follow up. You can see right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And Psiyo has been avoiding that all game long, where the second you go for a Wind Gust activation, he's just going to stun you out and prevent you from getting the damage out on top. You can see the wave has yet to be cleared, whereas those rage minions are guaranteed to die every time. They didn't die this time. Take some harassment there, not going to be able to pull it out. Fast forward yet again, we're going to be here in the mid stage of the game. 22 minutes in, Gold Fury has been taken twice by now. Next weapon of choice is going to be that Polynomicon, so tons of penetration directly into Polynomicon allows Isis to get that combo potential. Isis doesn't really have 100-0 potential with her ability. She can do a lot of damage, but needs that extra little bit with the Polynomicon to bring it down, and Psiyo's going to prefer to go for that. And you can see with the amount of penetration, the damage he has already built up, you're going to go directly into that Breastplate of Valor for the physical protection, more of a utility item with that protection. You got the mana on it, and of course the CDR is going to help him throw out more Wind Gusts and more Spirit Balls, and he's got enough damage now that he needs to focus more on surviving. So he has tier 3 beads he has available, and we're heading into the mid stage of the game. His tower is down. Of course, you're going to see Cloud9 pushing up on this one. The gold difference is a little bit in favor of Team Solo mid. You can see about 4k difference right now. It's a little bit back and forth so far, but you know, Isis, played by Psiyo, not giving up just yet, and he's looking for opportunity to get into a team fight here. And you know, he's just holding down his lane, getting that farm up. He knows that Isis, you know, is a character that relies so heavily on the farm that she has, the ability to deal out damage. I mean, Isis has some good utility, silence is slow, circle protection allows for reduced damage taken, as well as a big heal and big burst damage, and a good spot for your team to group up on if used properly. It's something that he's just kind of hanging out. You can see, look at the patience he's exuding here. This is how he plays Isis. He does not want to be caught out, does not want to go anywhere that's just going to put him into a bad position, and he's just casually farming. He realizes that his team is down 2 kills. His team is also down now 4,000 gold, and yet he's still farming, and he knows that once he gets that farm, he'll be okay in the late game. He'll pop his ultimate or get a good long-range Spirit Ball down, and it's going to do enough damage. In fact, in this game, we'll see him get a single kill, and you know, he'll drop out Kwong for about 100. And then actually a game previous, he will drop out Kwong from, you know, about 100 to 15%. It's something that we know from Psiyo's Isis, something we've seen time and time again, and he's going to be looking to do that here as the team fights start up. Fast forward to the game here, you see Breastplate of Valor is done. Psiyo is selected to pick up the Combat Blink, able to get himself out. And this is something that you'll see Ao Kuang players pick up a lot, the Purification Beads and also the Combat Blink to just get out of dodge. So, Isis is a very slow character that doesn't have a whole lot of escape mechanisms, so something to rely on. You can see TSM currently sitting 7,000 gold up right now, looking for rotation. Subit comes in. Let's go ahead and look at this right now. You see this Wind Gust coming out, and look at the positioning from Psiyo here. He's kind of hanging back. He knows there's going to be a lot of follow-up. He just doesn't know when. Silence going to go down on the Apollo here. He hears the Mercury ultimate. He's going to throw out a Spirit Ball just trying to assist in this kill, but you can see he's still hanging a little back. He's going to step far forward here, looking for opportunity to go in with the hits. There goes the Polynomicon into Bacchus. The wonderful Eggnog coming down from the sky. Circle protection. He knows the Mercury ultimate's going to come through, and now you see the Purification Beads going to be active here as it gets put up. There goes the Purification Beads active. You're going to turn around with Wind Gust, and this is something you can do with Wind Gust every time you get into engage it. Just use it for positioning. Look at the burst damage he has available now with the first 3 items that he ended up picking up there. So not only did he get the circle protection kill on the Apollo, but also was able to hit Agni in the face with a huge spirit ball. And this is what Isis really excels at. It's that damage you're looking for. Has a CC immunity with the Purification Beads. The blink is available if you need it. The penetration is there, and the Polynomicon does lots of damage, especially when you're able to get some good splash on top of everything else. The Breastplate of Valor defends him from characters like the Apollo, like the Mercury, as well as the Neath. And right now, he's kind of just looking for opportunities to get a really big burst and then throwing down the ultimate. And you can see he's even willing to throw down the ultimate and immediately pop it just for the fact that he'll get a big burst out of it and get a kill on top of it. So he plays, Isis more as a burst mage than anything else, and it works out fantastic. Passing forward a little bit more here, Rod 2 has been completed. Of course, more wards picked up. You see again, Spirit Ball on the melee hit, and then going for the Wind Gust for the full wave clear. At this point, you've seen him play quite conservatively still. He really doesn't want to engage on anything. And hopefully this gives you some insight on how to play a high-level mid role for your team. Is you're generally not, you're not trying to force everything. You're not, you can get away with it with characters like Agni, but Isis certainly cannot. And you'll see Psiyo play very, very safe, running around the map, looking for the perfect opportunity to finish someone off, almost assassin-like, the Burst Mage style that he does have the Isis stats going into. Now he's just holding on. You can see slow rotation. He's not really committing in the full direction. He's hanging around the mids area of the map, waiting for a big rotation to come out from his team. There goes the Wind Gust to clear the wave. Going to push some basics out and just farming where he can. Kind of being nearby if his team needs him, warding a lot. You see him buy 3 of the sentry wards time and time again. Mid camps, looking for farm, being very, very cautious. Does not want to get caught at this point. A lot of damage of potential. And you look at the enemy team, and you have like Neath, you have Mercury, Agni, Bacchus. They have a lot of potential to secure a kill if that kill does present itself. So he doesn't want to fall into that trap, and he's being very, very cautious. And this is something that I'd recommend doing if you're going to play Isis in the mid lane as you go into the late stages of the game. As we were at 35 minutes and 36 seconds right now. Everyone that is important right now is level 20. And that is going to be the way he's going to play this. Passing forward still, Rod has yet to be completed, but this is going to be a big team fight for Cloud9. You see Psiyo jump in here and try to get as much damage as he can. He's not committing to anyone specifically, just shooting out the damage, staying on the outside of the team fight. You can see he doesn't really let anyone be further out than him. He wants to be the furthest out on his team, but watch how he plays this. I'm going to go ahead and pop out here. Let's see Psiyo react to this. He sees the Neath ultimate, pops the Purification Beast to react to that. He hears the Apollo, and in the second he gets jumped on, this is the power of Purification Beast's blink. Not only is he going to avoid the Neath ultimate stun, but now he has this, and watch, turns around immediately for a Spirit Ball detonation, going to get the stun, throws out a basic attack for the Polynomicon, and now going directly into the Wind Gust, and as he's backpedaling, he's staying at maximum range. The Wind Gust still hits, but retreats back into his side of the map. He does not want to be part of the fight at any point. He jumps in, he kind of like the bob and weave. He jumps in for the opportunity to get a kill, for the opportunity to get some damage out. He's not going to get it. Spirit Ball lands on top, still sticking behind, throwing out the Wind Gust from the outside, not committing. You see Bacchus get close to him, so he's going to go ahead and throw out the silence and try to back off here. Bacchus, there's the Spirit Ball again, looking for the belly flop again. He's going to keep retreating, and he's almost like an observer that just throws out some little assistance here, kind of like Hunger Games. You see him above in the sky, dropping down assistance for his team, but never really committing to anything specifically. But the Spirit Ball is at max range, and when someone gets close, that Wind Gust with the Polynomicon burst damage is far too much, and they're going to earn themselves a Gold Fury. The ultimate's on the ground right now. You actually can't see it. A bit of an area that actually stacks up completely. Look at the heal that it has late game with the amount of magic damage that he has now. I throw out the basic attacks there, get this Gold Fury farmed up, but that's the power of having Purification Beads with Blink on characters like Ao Kuang and Isis. They're able to remove CC and teleport out, and when you're the enemy team, let's say you're team solo mid right now, if you see an Isis, and like I'm saying with Ao Kuang, they're very similar in their playstyles and itemization. If you see one, you want to kill it because they're very immobile and very squishy, and so you want to get that kill. But if they have Purification Beads and Blink, it's very, very difficult to be able to pull that off here. He's going to go on home, pick up the Rod, running in circles right now. He's going to pick up Tier 2 of the Obsidian Shard. So ladies and gentlemen, the build is complete for Psiyo's Isis. In this game specifically, it is changing per game, but for this game specifically, you're going to see Shoes of the Magi, Focus Voidstone, Polynomicon, Breastplate of Valor, Rod of Tahuti, and last but not least, Obsidian Shard for the penetration. So a big focus on penetration. 3 penetration items. The Polynomicon for damage, the Rod of Tahuti for scaling, and the Breastplate of Valor for CDR and defense, plus the mana that you get on top of that. So that's the build complete for Psiyo's Isis. We're almost at 40 minutes right now, Cloud9 versus solo mid, and Cloud9 has finally gotten ahead. And you can see that, you know, the entire time Isis, played by Psiyo, was not forcing anything. They weren't waiting, they weren't being greedy, they weren't going in, you know, Psiyo wasn't forcing. You see, even now, look at his positioning here. He's hanging on the top side, he went around the top, still waiting for an opportunity to be as far away from the fight as he can, sitting in the back at all times. You're never going to see him jump in and try to basic attack people with Polynomicon before the team fight starts. You're never going to see him jump in and try to get some huge burst damage before the team fight starts. He waits for his teammates to go in first, and then he does it. See, he's the first to leave the tower here. He's going to be the first one out, does not want to, you know, let this go. Now they're going to go to the right side and get some towers here, and that is going to be this push for now. I want to highlight this little point here so you can see just how much damage Isis can do when backed into the corner. Isis is going to get rotated on here. You can see Mercury jumping in, but watch how much damage. There's going to be 1 Wind Gust hit, 2 Wind Gust hits. That's going to be 600 damage for half of the total effectiveness of Wind Gust. You see Agni coming in here looking for the opportunity to get a kill on Psiyo. There's a Spirit Ball not going to land. Belch of the Gods, the Silence is going to come out. No bomb on top of that. And look at the rotation. Wind Gust coming out. There's the Path of Flame's going to avoid it. Flame Wave's going to get him off. But I mean, just look how much damage he can deal in a short period of time. This is the semifinals of the very same tournament we saw in the first game. It's going to be Cloud9 versus the Fanboys. We're going to see the exact same play style from Psiyo in the mid lane. This time up against Shadow Nightmare, a very accomplished mid laner from the Fanboys. Has a big history, so certainly someone who can contend here with Psiyo. You're going to see him go for the same start. Going to go for the same items. In fact, his build this game is more damage oriented. You can see the enemy team, a lot of squishies in Thor, someone that you know, you can just burst down if he gets caught out. So Psiyo going to leverage his passive play more effectively this game. But his first 3 items are exactly the same. Almost every single game he plays, it's going to be the Shoes of the Magi, Focus Voidstone into Polynomicon, and then from there it varies, generally picking up Rod of Tahuti, and then Obsidian Shard, and pretty much everything. It's just that situational item, that 6th item that matters so much to his play style. You're going to see the same things happen here. And you can see, you know, leveraging his basic attacks, getting the good push off, waiting for the enemy to commit, and once they do, that's when he goes for the push the mid lane, rotating for the mid camps. Of course, if you are playing mid lane, you need to know how long the mid camps take to respawn. It is going to be 1 minute and 40 seconds. Generally, the mid camps are killed at 15 seconds for the first time, which means that 1 minute and 40 later, they will respawn at 1:55, as you saw them go for the mid camps there. The mid camps are already gone. We're at 2:13 on the game clock. Then, of course, 2 minutes plus 140 is going to be 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and of course you can keep doing the math, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and then 7 minutes, and it keeps going on from there. Of course, they're going to, you know, possibly get messed up if you kill them later or anything along those lines. But you're going to see him do the same things this game, looking for the opportunities. You see he's letting Ao Kuang push. He's not getting aggressive. I see, you know, a lot of Isis players go directly for the kill or try to force things out, and they just get caught out and die. Psiyo just plays it passively. Just sits at his tower, waits for the opportunity, farms up. He knows that a lot of characters have a stronger earlier game than the Isis play that he's doing right now, and so he just waits for the farm. We saw this against TSM, where he just sat there and he farmed and farmed and farmed and farmed. It got to the point where Cloud9 was 7,000 gold behind in that game, and he just kept farming, and he kept waiting, kept playing passively, and then at a certain point, if he gets farmed enough, anyone that goes near him is going to get bursted because he does so much damage. Look for this opportunity here. Thor's going to go up in the air. He's going to spot it out. You can see him looking up into the sky. He's going to back up towards his tower. He's going to juke it out there just by passively walking, because Psiyo's just so darn good at this game. And that is going to be the play. I mean, you can see the same style, the same everything, the same formula. The situational item changes, but his play style fits the exact same billet. I want to highlight a play here so you can see exactly what Isis is capable of. You see him very low here, and from the right side, you're going to see Tyr jump in for the jump. He's going to get it. He's going to barely avoid that. Now, a couple things about Isis. Number one, when you have Wind Gust activated, you're going to get a movement speed increase 25% flat. You also have a slow and a magic protection reduction associated with your silence, and of course this stun on top of it. So let's watch Psiyo play this out here. This is an incredible play by him. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back here so we can see just exactly how incredible it is. I need to switch to the camera mode so I can actually jump up like this. You're going to see Tyr jump in from the right. Of course, Psiyo is going to go ahead and avoid that wing gust. You see you can not only move quicker, but avoid the penalty there. The silence as well as the slow is going to put him. But watch how he goes. He goes over to the side of the lane to avoid any hits, but also makes Pakuza commit here. But watch the power of Isis. He's so low. The mystical mark is ticking, but because of Isis's kit, he's able to not only do tons of damage, but also keep himself safe and keep himself at a distance. He's going to go ahead and turn around and get a fast Spirit Ball in the face here just to shut him down as he's going forward. Now watch how close he gets. The cleave's going to come out. It's going to be so close. Watch this. He activates the Wing Gust and turns around. The distance is not there, and the Wing Gust is going to go on top. So keep in mind, not only do you get a movement speed increase while you are using Wing Gust, you also do not have a backpedal penalty. So you can backpedal at full speed while using Wing Gust. You have a silence and a slow and a good stun. So Isis is a very high utility character, and Psiyo plays him like a very strong burst mage and something that works out so well for him. And I just wanted to highlight that play so you can see what Isis is capable of, especially in the hands of Psiyo. Fast forward again to late game here. His build is complete for this match because he wants more damage output to pick off characters, and he's not really afraid of too many people jumping on top of him. He's going to go ahead and go for his first 3 items that he does pretty much every game. Shoes of the Magi, Focus Void Stone, Polynomicon into Rada Tahuti, and then he goes straight into Obsidian Shard and picks up Bancroft's Talent for the damage. And watch what he's able to do in this engagement. You can see that there's already a 6,000 gold deficit for Cloud9. The fanboys are very much in the lead right now, controlling everything, going for the win. But look at the burst damage combination of Isis and on her. Even a character like Tyr with, bruiser items with that Bulwark of Hope active, the height of the Urchin, it's not going to be enough. And look how Psiyo just plays backs up, Spirit Ball. There's a Polynomicon. Here's the Wing Gust coming out. Look at the damage. It's insane. The slow, a single shot, and that's going to do it. Even characters, and also I want to highlight what Hyrock is playing Thor as right now. Bulwark of Hope, has the boots. He's playing more of a defensive build. With that Bulwark of Hope active, he's still able to burst down a Thor like that. And that's mainly because of the pot that he has right now and the huge amount of penetration and damage he has on the back end. This is pretty much how he plays his character. And, this is kind of how it works. Even if they get behind, Psiyo continues to play safe, continues to play conservative, waits for the opportunities to come out, and gets that big burst damage out and gets the big teamfight turnaround. Not only can he get an ultimate hit that just shreds everybody, but any teammates that are standing on it will get a big heal on top of it. Not only that, but anyone who is inside the radius have 15% less damage taken. So it's a huge teamfight ultimate. And Psiyo, playing Isis, team player, focuses on the engagements from the outside, never commits, never drives in, never puts himself in the middle of the fight. He's always on the outskirts playing Isis, waits for the plays to come to him, and never really commits because he has the mobility, the utility, and the distance combo, and that's how he plays Isis. And if you want to play Isis like him, that's how you're going to do it. Now watch this. The Fire Giant Aftermath. Cloud9 takes a good win here. It's a 3-for-2. Cloud9 in the lead, and then watch the damage. Sobek comes in here. Psiyo goes for the kill. There's the silence. Not only does it silence him, but slows him down and reduces magic protections. There's the Polynomicon hit, and watch it. Waits for the tail up. The tail up goes down, and now he's got some serious damage. Blink comes out. Spirit Ball on top. There's the Polynomicon. Now watch the damage potential here. He's going to back off, go for the Wing Gust over the wall, do a tiny bit of damage there. Now watch how much he's able to do. This is absolutely disgusting. Spirit Ball, Polynomicon, down to 200 HP, and right there, that is why Psiyo plays burst damage on Isis with huge amount of penetration, Polynomicon, and he has the Focus Void on the boots as well as the Shard all do shred, and he has it on there, and for good reason. Just watch the Alquang disappear. That is what he is working towards the entire game and why he's farming so much. That's pretty much how Psiyo's Isis goes. You can see the first 3 items are going to be the same pretty much every game. I'm going to start picking that up and going for hard damage. He plays the early stage of the laning phase very cautiously, very conservatively, Throws out his basic attacks and uses the hit chain splash to push the wave, not always using his abilities aggressively, and generally waits for the enemy mid to use their push first and then following up with his own. He's very passive in the mid lane early on as Isis because he knows his mid and late game are very strong. Plays the same way in the mid and late game for the team fights. Very passive, very conservative, looking for the picks, looking for the opportunities for everything to work for him, and that's how he's going to play the Isis. If you want to see more of his builds, go to tiermonster.com and click on his profile. I'll have it up on screen as well as in the description. If you click on his Tier Monster profile and scroll down to the bottom and click on Isis, you'll see exactly how Psiyo plays that character. Not only that, but you'll see his stats with Isis as well. You'll see his builds for the last 5 games that he played that lasted more than 20 minutes. We don't allow any posts of short games going up there on the Tier Monster profile, so you can see the ultimate coming out here. The ultimate is incredible for objective securing. And that's pretty much Isis's play from Psiyo. Make sure you guys go ahead and give the video the props that you feel it deserves. Like, favorite, share, and also give me some feedback on this new series and how you felt it went. If you'd like me to continue it, you want me to just keep going through other players and their favorite characters and the things they like to do. And if it was helpful for you, please give me some feedback on this series. I would love, love, love to hear from you guys. And hopefully this is, you know, a step towards the more educational videos you guys have been seeking for so long. That's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.